Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. And I've only said that just to wind Ricky up. Now, how you doing then, people? Good to see you all again and welcome back. Right, we are doing some, I don't know why we say we, because Ricky isn't here. He's probably bumming off somewhere in his camper van, so I'm on my own as usual. Right, some work to do on the Mighty White today. Basically at the moment it's just an oil change, and a few issues that I really want to sort out. I mean, there's a lot of issues with this car anyway, not that I didn't know about them. It's how can I put it, it's a typical mechanic's car. There's loads of little things there that I know about, and I know they are fine, and I know it will keep on working for now, and they're just going to be things that I'm going to get round to eventually. But they need doing, so I thought, well, there's a couple of jobs there that are probably channel worthy, so I thought, well, why not, let's just do a video of it. So first thing I want to get done is an oil change, another one. I made the mistake of changing brand of oil and viscosity of oil. I went down this route of putting classic motor oil in it, and it's obviously a little bit thicker and that kind of thing. Since putting that in, as when you start it up from cold, I'm getting a tiny bit of big end rattle. I'm going to be honest, that car's did it ever since I had the car anyway. I mean, I've had the car now 10 years, and I knew about it. Given the mileage that the car has done, obviously it spent a lot of that time stood still. That car's only done 42,000 miles, and I would imagine every time it's been left standing, it's been fired up straight away and driven. I mean, that's by previous owners, and because I knew about it, I'm a little bit more careful. I'll actually turn it on the key first without any choke, hoping it doesn't fire up, basically just to get some oil round. But now it's taking a lot longer to do that because the oil is a bit thick, so I'm reverting back to 1540, I think it is. I'm reverting back to that. Yes, the big ends are going to want doing, and yes, that is a plan for maybe this winter, when I can lay the car up, I can get it covered up, I can pull the engine out. And the beauty with these engines, because this has got the auto box on it, I don't need to pull the whole unit out, you know, because you know, you got typical Leyland, you got the gearbox slung underneath the engine within the sump. The autos are slightly different. You can unbolt the engine from the gearbox without removing the whole thing, which makes life a lot easier for doing that kind of work, because literally I'm pulling it straight off the sump, so the crank and bearings and all that are all exposed, which makes life a bit easier. So but while I'm going to do that, I'm going to get the head off, I'm going to get the cam, send the head away, get that all reprofiled with the cam and all that, get the valves done. The whole, most of it I can do myself. Obviously the remetalling for the shells, I'm going to have to send them away, and the crank regrind and all that. What I am going to do with that, and I've done it to a Rover SD1 engine, I had a 2.6 Bluebell, her name was, lovely car. I'll get Ricky to put a picture up now. Nice car, innit? Anyway, with that engine, I went down the route of porting the engine, basically making sure all the inlet ports matched up, they were polished and everything, and that transformed that engine. And I'm going to do it with this one, just because, why not, while it's in bits. But I'm not going to do that today. That is a future video, and that's for the winter yet to come. So today, oil change first things first, and then I'm going to just give it a little bit of a tune up. Typical SU carburettors. It's great when you set it up, when you go for a drive it runs like a bag of shit again. So it's just typical SU carbs. Getting them right is a pain. I've noticed there's one of the rebound straps on the back has snapped. I noticed that a couple of weeks ago. yeah, fair enough. It's only a rebound strap, it's nothing serious, but again, it's a job I want to do. I've got plenty in stock, so I'm just going to replace the both of them while I'm doing the job. So there's that as well. My bumper trim on the back there, it's always been loose, and every now and then it doesn't fall off, but it just looks like it's going to fall off, so I'm going to try and address that today if I can as well. And a few odds and sods also as well. Train Ricky, I have got a bit of a grinding noise on the front, and I think I mentioned this in another video somewhere. Now again, the steering rack isn't its best, and also I know the ball joints aren't their best, so I do have some in stock. So if what needs replacing will get replaced, it can be repaired, great. If I need to send it away, I'll need to send it away. It's how it is. But I want to try and keep the car mobile, because there's still a few shows that we want to do. So even if I just re-grease the ball joints for now, that'll save. If there's no play in them, then fine, I could just re-grease them, slacken them all off, re-grease them, that kind of thing. So it's just a maintenance thing. So anyway, first part of this I've rambled on too much, so let's get to work, get the oil out. No, I don't go crawling under the cars now if I don't need to. I suggest, if you're going to do an oil change, invest in one of these where you can suck the oil out through the dipstick tube. You can go, it's just finishing now. A little bit more there, it's going a bit deeper, there we go. Yeah, please work on a vacuum pump. Give it a pump and it sucks the oil out for you. Really good idea. I use this a lot at work when I'm doing servicing and things like that, especially for sucking out oil from transmissions, axles, brake fluids. It's fantastic bit of kit. They are a bit expensive. I mean, I think this one was about 70 quid, but it's a 7 litre tank, that is, so you haven't got to keep emptying it. There's some that are quite small that are only about 3 or 4 litres. This one's a 7 litre one. Brilliant bit of kit. You can get them from Machine Mart. Like I say, they are about 70 quid though, and they come with a your main tube, and then you get a couple of different add-ons, so some are thicker than others. Yeah, I like it. Nice bit of kit. So let's most of that oil is out. Now bear in mind, this doesn't share the gearbox oil because it's an auto, and it's a real small sump on these. It's only about 3.8 litres of oil there. So yeah, that's about right there, what's coming out. So it's fairly clean because it, like I say, it was done not so long back, but I made the mistake of using the thicker grade oil, as I've already mentioned. Now, problem is with a thicker grade oil, you can make the mistake was, yeah, when it's running, it's probably doing its job a little better than a thinner oil, providing all the engine tolerances and all the mechanicals are, you know, not worn. The problem is when it's cold, it takes a lot more work for the oil pump to get the pressure up, and I think that's where the problem that I'm getting now. So I'm going to revert back to a thinner oil, as I've already mentioned, and that'll just make a little bit more light work for the oil pump while the engine is cold. So all good. And of course, no oil change is complete until you've put a new oil filter on. This oil filter hasn't been on long, but if while I'm doing the job, I'm going to do it properly as per usual. Now, there's a bit of a myth going around. I saw on being on YouTube and on Facebook, you know, car myths that you do them and they're not necessary. Well, this is one of them. Whereas most mechanics, some mechanics, not all, will put a dab of oil onto the seal. This is something I was taught as a kid growing up, or helping my dad and that kind of thing. No, it doesn't give you a better seal or anything like that. No, it doesn't stop leaks, but what it does do is when you're screw in on the oil filter. This helps the seal to slide on its mating face and not bind up. Now if that was dry, the mating face is dry, when that touches and grips, that seal's going to try and, get me words right, try and twist, and I have known it when these seals have doubled up on themselves and then they create a leak because it hasn't been able to slide. So I don't care what the myths and all these experts behind keyboards that have probably never done an oil change say on YouTube and Facebook. That is why I do it, and that's why anybody sensible would do it. Just a film of oil. Ideally you'd want to be filling your filter up with clean oil as well. Unfortunately on the Ambassador, this filter faces downwards like that, so really there would be no point me filling that up with oil because most of it's going to pour back out. Basically what I will do once it's got some fresh oil in is disconnect the points or the the core lead and just turn it over on the key for 5 seconds, 10 seconds at a time until the oil light goes out, and then I'll know that the engine oil is up to pressure. So let's get this on and get some fresh oil in the old girl. Now, like most oil filters, they're in a awkward position, but with the Ambassador it's not that bad. So as soon as it's touched, obviously the seal's now mated to the mating face, and basically now turn it in by hand as tight as you can. Don't be tempted to put grips on there or straps or anything like that. They don't need to be extra tight, obviously as tight as possible, but you don't need to wallop them up with grips and that kind of thing. You're only going to damage the filter, and I have known where people have done this and pierced the filter. They've drove away and then 10 minutes later you've got a customer ringing you up saying, got no oil in my car. Yeah, I have, I put it in. Yeah, but what you did do was tighten the filter up with grips and pierced it, or separated it from its thread. So yeah, I've seen that happen as well. So all you need to do with an oil filter is tighten it by hand as tight as you can. Obviously it's only 1 turn or 1.5 turns. It does say so on the filter most times anyway. If it's a good decent filter, it'll tell you how much. So as soon as you get some contact, a full turn and a half sometimes, and that's enough. Here's another interesting tip, is that just before you're about to start filling your engine back up with oil, pull the dipstick out and leave it out. Now the Ambassador engine is obviously, the O series engine is different to most other engines where they've got the filler cap up here, and then you're waiting for the oil to run down the oil ways and things like that to get to the top. Now if you leave the dipstick out, or if you leave the dipstick in, you'll notice if you go glugging in your oil, it'll suddenly start to fill up and sometimes will overflow, because you're creating a little, I wouldn't say a vacuum, but a pressure chamber in your crankcase there, and the oil can't get drained down quick enough. So if you leave the dipstick out, the oil will flow down much quicker because it's not trying to push any air back up. Interesting thing about the O series engine, I mean, in its day they says it was the most advanced, but when you look at it really, no it wasn't. But look at this, when you take the filler cap off, it's attached so you can't lose it. I mean, how many cars do that? Fantastic. So that's my fresh oil in, and I've disconnected coil lead to the distributor. So let's fire her over on the key, turn her over on the key should I say, for a couple of seconds at a time till the oil light comes on. So I'll give it about 5 seconds. And off, give it a rest, and we'll go another 5 seconds. and rest, and we'll go some more. And we'll hang on again, and we'll keep doing this till the oil light goes out. There we go, she's out. Right, let's connect up the core lead and let's fire her up and see how she sounds. Push that fully home. There we go. Oh, the ambassador is spoiling us. Where's my Ferrero Rocher gone? Cool. That'll do. And she's waking up a bit now. That's better. So yeah, there's a few more things I want to do on the car. Check the points, clean up the rotor arm, clean up the dizzy cap and all that, and give the carburettors a tune up. Check the timing while I'm at it. So yeah, still plenty to do. Stay tuned. So that's that unscrewed, the dizzy cap unscrewed, and we'll have a look in there. Spotlessly clean, that's just how I like it. No, very, very little build-up of carbon there on the posts, and that is still nice and springy. Lovely. Right, pull off our rotor arm and just inspect it for cracks. This is a new one actually. I fitted this not so long back because I'm sad. There was a pack of 10 of these, and obviously having 3 wedges, I thought it'd be good to keep some in stock because let's face it, it's got that badge on it, and we all know what happens when things happen with that badge. So anyway, let's inspect the points. Let's turn the engine over so the points are on cam. Now I will admit, this dizzy, I did pull this dizzy out not so long back, simply because we had a little breakdown. I'd driven all the way back from Chesterfield and went to the shop, and then when I came out it refused to run. And simply all the problem was some oil on the points. Yeah, you can see there's a little bit there just starting to build up again, and that is because I may have put a little bit too much oil when I serviced it. I may have put a little bit too much oil on there, and it's just gathering up on the points a little. There's none in the gap, but it was just there on the edge. There's a little tiny drip. Basically what I was getting was a puddle of oil at the bottom here of the distributor. So what the engine oil was working its way along the shaft, bypass the seal, and obviously spinning out, and it was resting down here. But if it gets onto like here, obviously it will find a way down and drip. But as you can see there, that's nice and dry down there. There's no oil, so that was a job well done. There's no, obviously that is a little bit oily because of the oil on here, but there's no major spitting out of oil from the shaft, so that's it. We're all good there. So let's get it on cam and we'll check the gap. At this point I am going to point out that yeah, I might be teaching people to suck eggs here, but I'm going to let you into a little secret, although I don't think it is a secret. Ricky doesn't know how to actually do these. So, Ricky, pay attention, lad. Right, try and do this one-handed without things going haywire. So, socket onto the pulley. Now, don't forget this is an auto, so I can't actually put it in gear and rock it, so I've got to do it the proper way. So now I'll spin the engine round and we'll get the points on cam. This is awkward one-handed. Bear with, bear with. Just move myself out the way a little bit, hang on a minute. And there we are, top of the cam, and the points are open. If it would blooming focus. Right, my points are open. Now on a 4-cylinder car, you want to be looking for a gap of around about 16 thou, which is the general rule of thumb. But I will check in the manual and we'll confirm that in a tick. There we go. Contact breaker gap 14 to 16 thou. Yeah, I could do the happy medium and go 15, why not? And that will give me a dwell angle between 49 and 59 degrees. Not something I actually check, although I probably could do if I had a dwell meter, or I could do it the mathematical way and do it with a protractor, but I really cannot be bothered. But it's not normally checked, if I'm honest. But it's probably something we, you know, only us old timers actually use, if I'm honest. Now I've got to try and remember which way it were, if I don't make myself look a prat, so I'm not going to say it. I'll do some research first and I'll put it in later, maybe. But anyway, if I go for a 15 thou on the points, that'll be about right. So with feeler gauges in hand, and I want 15 thou, and there it is. 15 thou, and I use that one. Don't use them all like that, and make sure there is only one there. Yeah. Okay. Now, move that out of the way. You can go there. Now with the lightest of touch, basically don't hold them like a dagger, hold them in your fingertips like so, and you put them in the hole, in between the gap should I say, and feel for, so you just want it to drag in there, you don't want it to grip tight, it should slide in and you should just feel it. That is absolutely bob on. No need for any adjustment there, but if I do, I'll just release this screw, and just behind here there is a little pip there. So basically if I wanted to close them, I'd loosen this screw and just put a screwdriver in there and twist it to open it that way, or twist it to close it. So that's about absolutely bob on. That'll do. Nothing needed there. Obviously I can pull that back, have a look for any pitting, and they're absolutely pristine. So I think we'll leave well alone inside here. Obviously there's a little bit of dusty stuff, so we'll just get that out. There we go, job done. I'll put the thing back on and now we'll check the timing. So ignition timing on this particular one, being a 2 litre with a twin carburettor. 1, 2, yep. So I need 18 degrees before top dead centre, and it's got a little asterisk there that says vacuum advanced pipe disconnected, which I've already done. Disconnected from the vacuum bit there on the dizzy and blocked it off with a bolt there, just so you don't run too lean. So let's put that out the way there. So I've already pre-marked my 18 degrees on the pulley and pre-marked the timer as well, timing pointer as well. So all I need to do is run it up, get it up to about 2000 RPM and check where my timing is. So I'll just request the help of my beautiful assistant and wife. So she'll now get in there and fire it up. Pull the seat forward, darling. There you go, because I'll need you to press the throttle for me. Okay, fire her up. Okay, now give it some revs. Don't need the brake, you're alright. Too much, just hold it at around about 2000 RPM, so give it some gentle throttle. Bit more, bit more, bit more. That'll do, hold it there. Noisy bit. So I'll come around now and I'm going to pause this bit. Wow, that was noisy. Okay, a little bit impossible to do one-handed, so basically as my timing was coming round, I was basically getting around about 16 degrees and it should be at 18. So I'm going to make a little adjustment and then I'll go through this procedure again. So basically all I need to do is wait until the lines are marked up. But what I'll do is as a demonstration, I'll see if I can do this on tick over, and just to give you an idea of the difference between like tick over and 2000 RPM. Hang on there. I'm not sure if you can see that. That's around about 14 degrees on tick over, and at 2000 RPM that goes to around about 16. So on tick over, if I set it at around about 14, I should be more or less in the ballpark there. But basically I need to adjust the distributor now until those marks come together. And there we go. That's about bob on there. Not sure if you can pick that up on the camera, but that's around about 16 degrees there on tick over. And as I've already mentioned, at 2000 RPM I'm getting difference of about 2 degrees, so I think that'll be about right there. Yeah, sweet enough, that'll do. So that's my timing sorted, and on the it's been disconnected, the timing light. So I'll just connect this back up, the vacuum advance and what have you. So that's all back connected up, plug leads back on, so we're all good to go. On to the next procedure, which is balance them two things up there. So let's get the air filter assembly out the way and the air filter tubes off, so I can get my carburetor balancer on there as well. So that's the air filter off and the two tubes that feed the air filter. Now I've got my little carburetor vacuum gauge hooked up, so all I need to do is plonk this on the end and I get a reading on one carburetor, which is about 2.5, and on this side, 3.5. And back to the other one, just to be sure. On the other side, yeah. Let's shut this off. So basically you can see there's a difference there. I've got more air going through this carburetor than I have this one. So what I need to do now is undo the link, the throttle link, which links one carburetor to the other, slacken that off so each carburetor then is working independently, and then alter the tick over screws on each carburetor to get them to get the air balance level. So just bear with me and I'll slacken this off now. So with one of the throttle forks slackened off, if I come to this side and operate that, you can see that the other carburettor now doesn't move. So now they're both independent, and I will just make a small adjustment on this carburettor and just give it, wind up the throttle to give it a little bit more air going through the carburettor, and I'll fire it up now and we'll see what we get. So we're up to 3 on that one. And we're just above, around about 3.5. Back to the other side. So we'll give it a little bit more. So just a tiny, smallest amount. A little bit more. And the other carburettor, still a tad high on that one. I might just turn that one down a tad. I think that's as good as, damn it. That'll do. Sorted. So, come round here. So now I can tighten the fork, if you want to call it that. Tighten that back up, and then that will put the carburettors then back to working both together on the throttle. So once that's done, the next thing to do is basically check the mixtures. So at the moment I've got my CO2 meter reading at 1.8, 1.7, so that's well within the tolerance of between 1.5 and 3.5, as it says in the book. Yep. That seems good. So all I've got to do now is just check the mixtures on the carburettors. Tick over's a little bit quick, and it will go quicker with the air filter on, so I do need to slow that back down, which is just a case of turning the 2 throttle screws down at equal measures, because when I put the air filter back on, it will rise, it usually does. So I do need to slow that down once it's warmed up. In the meantime, I just get a small screwdriver. It says small screwdriver. Here it is. Okay, I'm just going to knock this off a minute. So basically what I'll be doing is putting a small screwdriver in here and lifting up the dashpot chamber, which raises the needle, and it'll be the same on each carburettor. And then basically it's supposed to, if I raise it up just a tiny little bit, it's supposed to drop and then climb again back to tick over. If that's okay, basically the mixture's alright. Obviously if it stalls when I lift that up, I'm chucking in too much fuel, which basically means it's too rich, and it will be the same on the other one. If I raise it up, the revs increase and it stays increased, it basically means it's too weak. So basically what I need to do is just lift it up just a touch, and I want the tick overs to stay the same on each carburetor. I'll see if I can do this with it live, so here goes. So I'll just raise this up slightly. So obviously this carburettor's too rich. So let's try the other side. And the same with that one. Both carburettors are basically too rich. So what I need to do is weaken the mixtures on them, and hopefully that will sort that out. So I'm just going to consult the manual as to which way I need to turn the screw, because I can't remember. I've just noticed there's some splittage going on that pipe. That's no good. Might need to address that. Unbelievable, actually. The whole lot is splitting. These was only replaced not so long back. Look at that. That is terrible. Okay. I'll have to get some more pipe, but anyway. In the meantime, let's sort these carburettors out. So we'll redo the same again. I've adjusted each car by about 1/4 of a turn. Let's just lift this one up. Probably still a little bit rich on that one. Clear it, and this one's got a tickler on it I can raise it up with. And that's in the raised position now, and that stayed running nice. I'll just weaken this carb a little bit more, I think, and that should do it. So I made another adjustment on the carburetor there, on the mixture screw, and I'll just raise this up a touch. She stays running nice, and this one that'll do. And go back and just check my readings. Seems alright. Let's see how she performs once she's got air filters on. I might need to turn that tick over down though. So that's the air filter back on and running even-ish. It's never ran good on tick over anyway, this car, basically because I've not got the original carburetors on the car, so I would imagine one's worn more than the other. But another little test that I do is to put it into drive with the brake on, and just to make sure she does stay running and everything rattles. That's about right. That'll do. Into neutral, and she just rises slightly again. Right, so that'll do for that. So I think the next thing is go and get some new fuel hose, because I'm not happy leaving those on. So right, let's go to the shop. So I'm just checking these hoses. The larger diameter, which is the 8mm from the main, a steel tube here, and it goes up to here. This was all the same batch of hose. And what I did do, because you get a longer piece of hose, what I've actually done here is added an aluminium tube, basically because I want less rubber there that can go wrong, obviously, just with smaller joins. Obviously there's nothing I can do about that. Or I could probably extend it with another piece of tubing. Obviously feeding the two carburettors, you've got an inlet here, inlet tube here, so that basically got an inlet, and this feeds that carburetor, and that then feeds that carburetor there. Yeah, removing these hoses, they're pretty bad. I mean, you can see there's actually a split in that one. I hope this can show up on camera, but That's pretty bad, but it's like it all the way over. You can see little micro splits there on the hose. Doesn't appear to have split internally yet, but it wouldn't take long, I don't think. Now, this hose hasn't been on that long and it's not that old. Obviously it's cheap quality hose, but look at that. That's opening up. You can see that's going down to the cords inside. Wow. Who would have thought that would have happened? And that's only been in literally a couple of months. So obviously a really cheap hose. Hell holes, fuse, fuel. Can't get my words out. So the hose that I'm replacing it with is by Pearl Consumables, and it's labelled up as hose fuel high spec. And also this hose has got stampings on it there, that also this hose there has got some numbers stamped into it, whereas this stuff hasn't. So yeah, let's get these new hoses on and hopefully they'll last a bit longer. Okay, so that's us done under the bonnet for now. Checked here, we've got no leaks going on, and she's running okay-ish. Obviously I can't take her out for a spin at the moment because I've got her blocked in, but there is some other work I want to do anyway today. So I think the next job is going to be to replace this rebound strap that I found broken under here. So yeah, it's gone on the where it mounts, so it hasn't exactly snapped, but yeah, it needs to be on there. So I think while I'm at it, I might as well replace a pair of them and get them both sorted. Cool. So I've got the Mighty White up on ramps just for better access under here. Now these rebound strap pins are actually seized in, so I did soak them in WD-40 overnight, so I'm going to have another attempt now of getting these out so I can put the new straps on. The other side is still intact and in fairly good condition, so I think I'm just going to actually leave that one alone for the time being. And I've actually noticed it's got nuts and bolts through it rather than the clevis pins, so I think that's a good idea. But while I've got the pins for this side, and if they're reusable, I'll, you know, obviously put these back in. We'll see what happens. So let's see if I can get them out without butchering them too much. Well, those took some persuasion, that's for sure. So yeah, I'll get those cleaned up. And they'll be reusable again. Obviously that strap's no good, so let's get a new one on. On closer inspection, it appears that this one that I've just taken off and the one that's broke anyway is a bit short, and I've checked this new one against the one on the other side, and obviously the new one matches up, so I'm a bit puzzled whether this could be off a different car. I don't know. Bizarre, but anyway, it's off, it's out the way. Let's get this new one on. So that's the top end of it anchored, and the clip is on as well, so the pin was slid in nice and easily. Now it's cleaned up, so all it's a case of now is plonking this in there and popping the pin through, and there we go, job done. Right, is there a next job? Well, I can see there's plenty of work to be done. Got some little rust issues going on under here. It's all solid, but it all just wants fetching off, and obviously, oh, let me just get up. Probably doing the same as what I did to Ricky's Rover there, is get the tow bar back off, because it's not staying on this car anyway, and it'll just be a case of linishing this off, get some new stone chip under there, and painting it back up. But that'll be a job for when I take it off the road later on in the year. So I think what I've got left to do at the moment, let's get her fired up, let's get her off the ramps and get some heat into the car. And I think I might just now take her for a spin to see how she's performing since the service. Right then, away we go. Let's see what happens. Bit of chalk. Nice. Not bad. She hasn't stalled yet. And we've got a lovely rattly dash. That's another job I want to sort out later on. Right. Beautiful. Okay, that feels pretty good. Ignore the rattles, it always does it. Not something I'm worried about now. Into second. Lovely. That's nice and smooth. I like that. Job done. We're off! Beautiful. Over speed bumps, no wobbling around like it was doing before. Nice. I'm happy. That'll do for now. Certainly feels a bit more snappier, that's for sure. Not really giving it much throttle, nice and gentle. It's picking up really nice, much better than it was before. So I think with my timing being slightly out, carbs again wanted adjusting. It's a typical thing with this car being twin carbs, and I can see why now a lot of people do convert these to single carbs, because they're a lot less hassle to be messing around with. I would say every couple of months this car needs the carburettors doing. It's a constant fettle. It's one of them things, and I think it's all part of owning a classic car, to do some fettling and things like that. And when you are doing some fettling and, you know, routine maintenance, that's when you find you know, some of the issues that usually get ignored, like the fuel pipe. And we saw Ricky had done his the other week, you know, and his were fine. It had been on a year. He obviously, there were a better grade of pipe than what I'd put on this. So unfortunately I got caught out, but luckily it didn't arise to anything seriously, but it could have done. So I'm really lucky there that it didn't go any further, and we found it when we did. I would imagine another couple of weeks, and I would imagine I'll be looking at a split fuel hose when I really don't want it to split, and God forbid it had landed on you know, the exhaust manifold that gets blooming hot on these things. It could have been a disaster. So, you know, I understand classic cars need a lot of fettling and need, you know, looking after, but that's not a bad thing, because you can have cars that are much younger by, you know, 30 years, and things will go unnoticed until it comes round to an MOT, and it's, oh, it's cost me so much to get through the MOT. Yeah, because you never lift the bonnet. Let's be honest. So I think owning a classic car, it does force you to do the maintenance and look after them, and they usually end up being better cars. I mean, I would happily trust this car, and I always have done. I'll trust this car up and down the country, you know, quick check of the levels and away we go, and I've never had trust issues with this car. So I think routine maintenance does, you know, solve a lot of problems, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's brilliant. I'm happy with the way this is running now. That feels quite good. There are plenty of jobs to do, there's more to see, so stay tuned and we will catch up again real soon when I'll be piddling about with someone else. So take care everyone, stay tuned, comment, like, subscribe, and in the next video we'll be working on something else, maybe. See you soon, bye.